It is day 44 of my journey towards writing my first fantasy novel. And as you can tell, I'm not sitting at my desk because today I tried something new. And it's something I've never done before, but I might do it again. I'm Father Roderick. I'm a priest. I'm a writer. I love stories, and I am currently writing a novel about two novices, a brother and a sister, who are trying to master the art of story magic. They are living in 6th century Ireland, and they get very quickly involved in an adventure that not only will affect the rest of their lives, but also the fate of the entire world. And I've been working steadily every single day on developing the story, and I'm currently in the first drafting phase. And I actually have been struggling a lot with the story, especially because I keep coming up with other ideas that I want to integrate into the first few chapters that I've already drafted, which is, of course, a huge temptation and probably not a wise thing to do, as everybody keeps telling me, because a first draft is just that. You are supposed to include more details and more connections when you are writing the second or the third draft. So what I did today was I went on a story walk. I discovered that, actually I've been doing this for quite a while now, that I'm actually very good at thinking off the top of my head when I'm walking. There is something about being in movement, being out there in the woods, that is extremely conducive to creative thinking. And the challenge that I was facing today was to come up with the events that happen during a very important test that my main protagonist, Ty, has to go through in order to become a story mage. The test is taking place on a holy island, which is filled with magic, and there is a whole backstory of that island which has to do with the genesis of the world that I've created. If you want to have more details, then take a look at some of the earlier videos that I made about that. But I just had so much trouble figuring out how to make that challenge, that test, interesting and compelling, and how do I pace that, and what are the difficulties, and what is the personal development during the challenge, all that. And so I figured I'm just going to go for a walk, and I'm gonna talk into, this is my digital recorder that I use for podcasting almost on a daily basis, and I figured I'm just going to record a voice memo and just dictate the story as I go. And my plan is, or was, to just go into this free flow of ideas, and maybe not very structured, but this is kind of like saying out loud what normally I would come up with while sitting at my desk. And then, as I do with all my podcasts, I just let it be transcribed, and then I have material that I can organize. And so I started talking and just kind of making it up. And sometimes I had to retract. I was like, okay, this is not working. Let's do this. And then what if this happens? And so I have, I thought I was only going to do this for half an hour. I was walking for an hour and a half. And there were times that I got stuck, and I was like, oh man, this is really, should I really continue? So it's the same kind of, it's the same struggle that I often have when I'm sitting at my computer, where I'm tempted to throw everything away because I don't think it's good enough. But I know also from experience that oftentimes that's what you think in the moment, but when you look back at what you've written a day later, it's actually not that bad. And so I just kept figuring out how to solve the puzzle of that test on the island as I went. And I ended up with an hour and a half of story material. And I think it's okay. It's definitely a story that has 3 main challenges, and it ended in a pretty, how do you say that? It's quite the event at the end of the final test is actually almost like a prefiguration of the battle that happens at the end of the book. And I didn't see that coming. But that's kind of the advantage of just being outside and being in this free flow state where I'm not limiting myself when it comes to ideas. I just kind of make up stuff, and then I think what helped me is knowing that this is just me chatting and I can always discard it. And somehow that also helped in deblocking myself and giving myself license to think outside the box. So all in all, I think there's a lot to work with there. It's not the final version, but I think if I transcribe this and summarize it, it will give me enough of the main ingredients that I need for this very important part of the first act of my story. So story walks, I think I'm going to do this more often. It might actually be an idea to maybe do this early in the morning. Start with a walk. That's also good for my entire overall physical and mental health, and then spend the rest of my writing hours developing what I came up with during that walk. Is this something that other writers also do? Let me know in the comments. And now it's time to start developing all this. But I'm energized again, and I'm hopeful that I'm on the right track. And that makes all the difference. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.